It is a beautiful night for soccer in Dallas. Yes, it is a little bit warm, 85 degrees at game time, almost no wind as we get things underway. I'm John Little alongside Kat Webb, and SMU is going to play it back to their keeper, Sierra Cotillard. Stanford doing a great job of pressing early on, and SMU is on the run. The Cardinal, a team that has only given up 4 goals all season. That spreads out to a goals against average of .33. Meanwhile, for the SMU Mustangs, they have been really good at scoring this year. And SMU will have an opportunity with the ball in the attacking half of the field as Stanford is able to nip it away. The Cardinal, obviously, Kat, they are a team that last year made it all the way to the NCAA championship, falling to Florida State by a 5-1 score, and so many of those players are back on this year's team. How does that help them as they go through these big moments, as you see Stanford with it at the top of the 18 and SMU not able to get a full clearance, at least as of yet, and Stanford keeping the pressure on. Kohler sending it in front, and Sierra Cotillard comes up with it. But, you know, having that championship game experience, how does it help?
It's going to help them because they have the stability of having players back and just the experience of another year under their belt. I mean, they have the experience and leadership abilities on the field that for any coming freshmen and stuff is going to make them a strong team to compete against.
And after making it all the way to the NCAA championship a year ago, they started the season as the number 2 team in the nation. They've only picked up 1 loss and 1 tie this year. Yet they're at number 9 right now, but certainly a team you could see in the College Cup at the end of the year. And as I looked at this roster for Stanford, there is no doubt they're an incredibly deep team at almost every position this year.
They sure do. They look, we didn't even know who was going to start because they're so deep.
And that gives Paul Ratcliffe, the 22nd year head coach of Stanford, a guy that has been to 10 College Cups. That's just ridiculous in his time with Stanford. An opportunity to play with the lineup, whether at any level of the field, and try to pick up the right result. Last time out, Stanford at home tied with Pittsburgh. A 1-1 final there, the first tie this season. They've only lost once this season. That was at the hands of Wake Forest on the road by a 1-0 margin. And where the Cardinal are just incredible, Kat, is their defensive prowess. However, so far this season, they have not been a team that puts up goals in bunches, and that can help opponents stick around in games.
Absolutely. I mean, they're so focused on their back and not letting people score.
As Lydia Ungashik tries to make her way into the corner of the 18 and has it played away by Joelle Jung. But an overlapping run by a player that's normally a holding mid in Lydia Ungashik, and SMU will have their first corner opportunity of the night. The SMU Mustangs are coming off of a 3-0 loss at Duke, and this is a really tough stretch of the schedule. They played Florida State to a 1-1 draw, went to Duke, came up with a 3-0 loss. Now they take on the defending runners-up in Stanford. Maura Hummel plays it out front, settled down by Nia Rose. Rose tries to drive it, and it's blocked out front, and a run out for Jasmine Ike, one of the best and most versatile players in college soccer. Ike is a player that will start up front in this match, but she's actually started a lot this season at center back for Paul Ratcliffe. What does that say about a player that's able to not only start at center back for you, but can go right back up the spine and start at the 9 position as well? Absolutely.
Having a utility player of that ability to play in the back and or up top, that's unicorn, because it's so hard to foster either position, and for her to do it so well, it's true standard for Stanford.
You know, I love what you say there, unicorn. It definitely is, kind of a 1 in a million type player. Ike can do it at so many different positions and at such a high level. Jasmine Ike was number 3 on Top Drawer Soccer's preseason list of the best players in the nation, right alongside players like Missimo from Texas and the like. As this one trickles over the end line, and a chance at a goal kick for SMU. Sierra Cotillard Cotillard has been busy, the graduate transfer from Arkansas, in net. She has at least 7 saves in her last 3 matches. And one of her best games was the 9-save performance to pull the fat out of the fire against Florida State, the defending national champions, and help SMU come out with a draw in that match.
She's a Portugal national team goalkeeper as well, so she's been doing double duty, playing international and college soccer.
Mustangs able to get past the press, but even so, when they get past the press, they'll have to deal with a team that does a great job of throwing numbers behind the ball as Eliana Salama's drive up the field is stopped. How much defensive, I guess, just attention to detail does it take for a team to be not only good at pressing, but then also getting back on the defensive end?
I mean, their coach is blessed to have a team that is so structured to get back, to get numbers behind the ball, and that's why they only had 4 goals scored on them the whole season. I wish I could have half my teams get behind the ball like they do.
Nia Harrison sees that one trickle out of bounds on the pass from Avani Brandt, the senior from New York, picking up her 3rd start of the season and her 45th of her career. A lot of these Stanford players have started over the course of their career. As Kohler gets forward, the freshman tries to leak it inside. It dribbles through, and Sierra Cotillard is able to lean to it at the edge of the 6. Charlotte Kohler, part of this midfield that Paul Ratcliffe is really excited about. Kohler's been outstanding in her freshman season from Woodside, California. Outstanding, skillful, she's fast, she can score, she can create off the dribble, and has 2 goals to go along with 3 assists for this very deep team. Abby Hampton being shadowed by Jasmine Ike, and Hampton wants it high in the air, and Emma Alvord trying to come up with it. However, Stanford, Cardinal able to keep it in. See if the Cardinal can get something going toward the SMU net. So far, a lot of possession for Stanford. A few possessions inside the 18, but no huge obvious chances for the number 9 team in the nation. Over the top ball to Nia Harrison, and a little too strong. What do you think Stanford is showing by trying to pop the ball over the top toward their right outside back early in this match?
They're looking to play it over the top and hopefully have a dispossession of SMU's backs and just testing them to see how they're going to fare.
In addition to that, it gives Stanford an opportunity to set up their press. SMU gives it away, and Stanford with the entry. A lot of attention played to Jasmine Ike, returning first-team All-American. The Cardinal will play it back into possession to Brandt. And now Elise Evans at the left outside back position, one of the captains for this team as well. Evans making her 50th career start, part of the Matt Herman Trophy watch list. And number 10 on the preseason top 100 for Top Drawer Soccer. Stanford, a very deep team with some excellent individual players. 36.5 minutes left in this opening half in Dallas. Stanford and SMU playing for the first time in quite a number of years, and the first time ever here in Dallas, as the new conference realignment has meant that teams from different parts of the country get together. What would you have thought if Stanford was on the conference schedule while you were playing here in Dallas at SMU? Well,
that would have been great. A road trip to California would have been good for a Dallas girl back in the day. It's knowing that the ACC is now, 16 deep now, team-wise?
Yeah, 17.
17.
Yeah.
It is some stealth competition for sure.
And it's pretty incredible that only the top 6 of that gaggle end up making the conference tournament. And right now, if the conference season were to end today, SMU would be right there, but not quite make that cut list. But then neither would Stanford either, and we'll show you the conference standings in a little bit and who's playing well and who is trying to march back up the lineup as the season goes on. But there are still 5 regular season games left for the SMU Mustangs to try to make their mark. This is a giveaway here, and Joelle Jung runs onto it, or rather cutting to her left, shooting, but over the top. Andrea Kitahara running onto it and driving it high, looking for her 6th goal of the season.
Yeah, bad giveaway right there. Thank goodness that girl roofed it, hit it over.
So for Kitahara, who is the 4th-year junior out of San Mateo High School, making her 55th career start. She's a great 1v1 player, and right now tops on the team in goals with 5, including 3 game winners. Nearly able to come up with her 6th early on here in Dallas. And that's one thing you can't do against a team where you're not going to get a lot of offensive opportunities, is have bad giveaways, of course. And it seems very obvious, but it's definitely something SMU's going to be thinking about. Eliana Salama trying to keep it in along the sideline, not able to do so. As we take a look at the ACC standings, and like we said, there are a ton of teams in this league, and just how everybody's stacking up here with about 5 matches left in the regular season. We'll get to those in a moment and tell you about who's really playing well at this point in the season. But I think one of the teams that is opening up some huge eyes at this point is Wake Forest. They just picked up a win over Florida State. First time that Florida State has been beaten in a couple years, and it was a convincing one as well by a 4-1 final.
That's mind-boggling that they got beat that badly, but that just shows you how huge the competition is in this conference. And I would maybe even say that it's the top conference in the country.
I don't think there's any doubt about that, as you see that North Carolina leads the way with their 5-0 mark. Right now, North Carolina is ranked number 2 in the nation. You've got the number 3 team in the nation in Duke in there as well, a team that SMU just came up on the short end of the stick against. Florida State, the defending national champions. Stanford at number 9, the team that was the defending runner-up. It is just a glut of incredible teams right now, as this drive toward Cote-Yard is easily handled on that attempt at a shot, I guess, by Ali Montoya, but she's a player that's really good at crossing it as well. What do you think she was trying to do here?
Trying to put it, she should have put it more backside, but Cote-Yard's she's got great hands. Snaggled it up.
Love that matchup in this match between Ali Montoya, the right side wing for Stanford, and a really good left outside back in Sophie King for SMU. Now King trying to get forward. Pretty good ball to her, able to settle it down, trying to pop it inside. Albert running after it, and finally Elise Evans is able to get it out of trouble. A brave play by the center back, Elise Evans. SMU is a team that traditionally likes to play 2 possession. Is this a match where they can also try to play 2 possession, or do you think that you'll see SMU in this match go over the top a little bit more than they normally do?
They should, because especially when they're flat in the midfield here, that they take chances, put them under pressure, see if they can make them have a bad touch and run onto that. That's what Stanford's doing to SMU right now.
SMU getting a chance to host not only the defending national champions in Florida State last week, but in addition to that, also hosting the defending runner-up from last year. As SMU trying to run onto this one, Nia Rose trying to put the pressure on, and it trickles back to Haley Craig, who has been nearly perfect this season. And she gets it back out to midfield. SMU in that match took the lead on a beautiful play by Nia Rose. A strike by Florida State ended up winning it, but also lost in all that was SMU getting a chance, not 1 but 2 chances at a penalty kick in the first half. The first successful PK by Lou Brousseau was called back because SMU got into the 18 too early, and then the second penalty kick opportunity on the redo was a brilliant save by the FSU keeper, but that's how close SMU was to knocking off the Seminoles, and that's why Stanford should be alarmed with a matchup like this.
Absolutely.
First foul of the match. It goes on Jasmine Ike as she gets tangled up just a little bit with Hartman.
Let's see if both teams can keep up with this pace, because it is high octane for sure.
A little bit frenetic so far. Not many big opportunities. Stanford definitely had the best chance as Andrea Kitahara ended up sailing one high over the top of SMU's goal to try to get Stanford on the board. Mustangs have not been able to put up a shot against Stanford so far, as we play with 15 minutes gone in the match here in Dallas. Abby Hampton to Ungashik, back to Rudden. And she's able to feed it out to Maura Umel. What is it about this Cardinal press that it's going to make them tough to play through tonight?
They're very knowing of where they are on the field, and they support each other. They talk and they communicate and they shift and they get in behind the ball. Like you said, they have numbers behind the ball at all time, and they all work in unison. If you can see how they shift and shift and shift, they're just a
But
orchestra.
Can SMU make a play? Nieves sends it in front. It's still loose. And backed up out top by Rudden on that centering feed. It was intended for Nia Rose, and Rose nearly got there for SMU. All it takes is a moment, right?
Yes, sir.
SMU's best opportunity so far, a Sammy Nieves centering feed in the direction of Nia Rose, who played for the Canadian under-20 national team as part of the FIFA U20 World Cup here recently. Ungashik gets it in the middle. Quickly off to Salama. Salama with some space. Chips it over the top. The deflection is in for SMU. The Mustangs are on the board against Stanford. A seeing eye goal for SMU.
What a ball that was put in for that player to get to, and she just slices it across, and the keeper misplays it.
I don't think Nia Rose ever touched this. The way that she looked back, she was really surprised that Salama's ball, which was obviously intended as a feed for Rose, ever got into the goal.
She did not. I mean, she'll take that goal all day long.
It's going to look like a beautiful strike from 25 yards out for SMU.
Unfortunately, the keeper just misplayed it, and thinking that the player was going to run in.
There will be an official review as well on this goal. And again, this year in college soccer, the replay expanded to make sure that every goal has the opportunity to be reviewed. And I think the only thing you might be looking at here is a possible offside, but not being able to see the whole field there, it looked like a legal play, and we do get confirmation. They're looking for an offside. Look at Alvord on the top of your screen and where she was. She's onside. It looks like this is going to be a legal play. What's your thought, Kat?
I think she is onside. She's level the way she was facing, and she was looking and making sure she was onside.
Great crew tonight in Dallas, led by Kayla Polanski, who is pouring over this right now. And again, we've been taking a look at Alvord, top of your screen. She is closest to the sideline. And it looks like the last line of defense there is going to be Nia Harrison wearing number 23. By the way, great decision by Ungashik, and you just can't give Eliana Salama that much space, can you?
No, not at all. I mean, they're so compact in the middle that they're leaving her outside. You need to have at least someone have a little bit more backdoor presence there.
And I know that for those who have not had a chance to watch SMU play this year, you're thinking, wow, what a beautiful play made by the midfielder in Ungashik, and it was. But Lydia Ungashik has been more of a holding midfielder this season, as the call is in. We'll get confirmation here.
Goal.
It's a goal. But Lydia Ungashik has played more of a holding midfield spot this season. She's starting to get up and join the attack, and for teams that haven't seen that on film yet this season, maybe it can catch them by surprise.
It definitely can. In that ball that she played in through the middle was exceptional.
So Ungashik with the primary assist for the SMU Mustangs. Eliana Salama with her 7th goal of the season. She was in the top 10 for ACC leaders in goals. She is having an outstanding junior year for SMU. 7 goals to go along with 4 assists. And SMU gets it started again early against one of the best teams in the nation in Stanford. Now the Cardinals have had their opportunities. Can they get one to go in the back of the net and respond to SMU here early?
They're going to start high pressing now because being a goal down, they're not going to just lay back, and they're going to attack now even more so.
Not many deficits this season for Stanford. As Nia Harrison crosses up, looks to get offensive. This one gets all the way through, and Abby Hampton with a solid strike. All the way out to midfield. Nia Rose tries to hunt that one down with a little bit of pressure. That goal came in the 17th minute for SMU, where Eliana Salama, just a trickler. Meanwhile, for the keeper on that play, yeah, I absolutely know Haley Craig wants that one back. But also, she's got bodies in front of her. She's thinking, I know number 19's a goal scorer, and I've got to watch her as well. How tough of a play sometimes is that to just be undistracted in the moment?
She has, it's a decision-making, second by second choice to make. Do I stay and watch the ball, or do I assume she's going to have a little click on to finish? So she was stuck in no man's land, honestly, and it's like, which one do I do? And that just unfortunately went the wrong way for her.
Paul Ratcliffe has a lot of reasons to smile, though, this season. His team already at 10 wins, and they are unbeaten in 47 of their last 49. And it's an opportunity as well for his team that no doubt will be in the NCAA tournament here in the next month or so, to run up against some adversity on the road and maybe see how they play through it.
I mean, road trips, against great competition, it's only going to get harder and harder for them. They need to take one game at a time. But this conference is just insane.
And now trying to attack and get the equalizer, but Sierra Cotillard is able to lean down and pick it cleanly. Kita Hata, wow, what a beautiful move against Maura Umel and shooting low.
Great hands by that goalkeeper.
Sierra Cotillard, who, like we said, she's been busy of late. At least 7 saves in each of her last 3 matches, and especially the way college soccer is played these days, you don't want opponents to get 7 to 9 shots on goal a night.
No, and but they trust in her so much that she just does her job, and they don't think twice about it.
Emma Alvord with that track speed for SMU, trying to track it down, can't quite do so. The keeper, Haley Craig, giving up a rare goal this season. She was 4th in the nation, 12th in the nation in save percentage, coming in at .889. Just miraculous how good she's been in goal. One little mistake there, and Stanford down to SMU by a 1-0 margin. But the Cardinal have some numbers forward. And here comes Kita Hata again. Comes outside to Montoya. Montoya switches to the middle. Dumps it off for Jung, the midfielder joining. Jung drives it, and again, Sierra Cotillard is able to pick it up off the hop, as Sierra Cotillard is perfect for her first couple opportunities to make a save.
She squared up and just, knew where the ball was coming and got down and grabbed it.
Shots during conference play so far, SMU 7th in the league in shots, and Stanford 8th in the league in shots, kind of neck and neck there. Shots are one thing, though. Quality shots is another. How do you try to teach it? And I'll give you a chance to think about it as Nia Harrison flips in on the right side, gets past Salama, out to the corner. Harrison didn't get all of it, but it's redirected back out top to Jung, and the Cardinal trying to be dangerous again. Jung with the left-footed drive, deflected twice, and that out of harm's way by Sammy Nier. for quality shots, too.
I mean, it depends on what part of the game it is, John, but if it's, last minute, you're going to just throw everything at them. But I don't think Stanford's going to panic. There's still plenty of time left in this game. They're going to keep trying to keep possession and try to find outlets for their team to get into shooting positions.
Stanford out shooting SMU 4-2. SMU shut out for the second time this year, last time out, at the hands of number 3 Duke, a team that has a very similar defensive record this season to Stanford. I mean, their numbers are, in fact, identical, or they were coming into the match. They had played 12 matches. They had given up 4 goals. And so certainly SMU and Nicole Nelson telling us before the match that her team did not play well in the first half of that match against Duke, but even though they didn't get on the board in the second half, started to play better, and that seems to have springboarded them, that plus a couple good trainings, into a nice start against a great team in Stanford.
I've personally seen Duke play live, and then I watched the game back versus SMU. They very solid defenses, just like Stanford. They definitely play balls over the top and look to run onto them. That is basically their bread and butter for Duke, for sure.
Nieves trying to whisk it up the field, but Alvord was not ready to quite kick it into gear as of yet. 22 minutes remaining in the first half. If you're just joining us, a seeing eye goal for SMU's Eliana Salama, her 7th of the season, to open things up for SMU. But here comes Stanford. Montoya on the right. Montoya measuring it up, creates some space, steps on it, gets onto her left foot, pops it across. The header is right on the line and saved by Montoya, or Cotillard, who was in perfect position on that header.
Just a reaction of Cotillard is just unbelievable. So solid in the back.
Montoya took a look up and saw not only Kitahara, who had the header there, but also the great goal scorer in Jasmine Ike to choose from. Just put it in a spot, and Cotillard made the right play.
Cotillard is just exceptional back there. I thought that was a goal.
For the SMU Mustangs, they'll bring in Nanami Hata for the first time in the midfield, and also for Stanford, Shea Harvey coming in the midfield as well, the 5'10 sophomore, one of the best freshmen in the nation a year ago. And when you've got Shea Harvey coming in the midfield off the bench, talking about just having a glut of players that can continue to come after you wave on wave. That's what Paul Ratcliffe has. Throw in on the way for the Cardinal.
To be so deep and on their roster is just, he's blessed.
Nia Harrison trying to feed it inside. And that's the player that just came in, Shea Harvey. Harvey not able to get to it. She was trying to be a link-up player at the top of the 18, and it just got past her. Hartman doing a nice job of pumping it off to Sophie King, but King misfires on her pass. And another throw in for Stanford, who has continued to put pressure on SMU.
Great possession out of the back until that little mess up, but now they're on the attack again.
Nia Rose is able to push it into the final third. Rose cutting to the middle. Rose looking for some help. Lays it to the top of the 18 off a couple players. It's deflected, kept alive. Alvord runs onto it, throws it in front, deflected. And Haley Craig is there.
SMU has come to play today. Good save by the keeper. Unfortunate, not a strong enough header.
A lot of offensive opportunities for Stanford, and that's SMU's probably third big opportunity. And probably the easiest to save of the three was the one that went in the goal, quite frankly, as King steps to it. But sometimes that's just how it goes in this game. Now Nieves has a little bit of space. Trades places with Alvord. Emma Alvord strikes it toward Nia Rose. Rose bumping and grinding. And a good job by the senior, Grant, to shield off the goal scorer and let Craig step into the ball.
Rose is a strong player. You can see how she uses her body to get in behind that defender.
Cat Webb, I'm John Little. Another giveaway, and SMU has it back. Ungashik, who had an assist on the goal, off to Nieves. She knows she has Maura Umel joining and hits her. Alvord trying to be strong with it, gets onto her right foot, acceleration into the 18, the drive, and on the near post, Haley Craig is equal to it.
She took her on, beat her, got a shot off. Fortunately, just wasn't hard enough to the far post.
It's a good matchup. A senior in Kelly Pagador, who is making her 35th start at outside back all time for Stanford. A player who has been through it over and over again. Just beaten with speed by one of the fastest players in the ACC in Emma Alvord. SMU, after a great start, will do a little bit more subbing. And Eliana Salama, who has the goal in this match, comes to the bench along with Sammy Nieves, Nia Rose, and Emma Alvord. On the plus side, fresh legs for SMU. On the other side, you know, some of your top-line players who have been involved in scoring opportunities come to the bench. Meanwhile, for Stanford, they will bring several players in, and that includes Lizzie Blama, who you saw on the entry feed, and also Jaden Thomas, who we talked about off the bat. Jaden Thomas, who went to high school at the Hockaday School, scored almost 70 goals in her high school career, in addition to what she did in the ECNL, playing for FC Dallas. If you're not familiar with the Hockaday School, just about 5 miles as the crow flies from here at SMU. A nice ball, Brousseau trying to feed it in front, and it just got tipped to the keeper, Craig, with Kelly Gordon lurking for SMU.
It was a great attempt by Brousseau to put her in. Unfortunately, just got a touch from the defender.
Jaden Thomas holds it up and looks to ricochet it up the field, but Haley Hartman decides to get in and challenge it, throw in for Stanford. Stanford with 5 shots, SMU with 3. 3 of the Stanford shots have been on goal, all saved by Sierra Cotillard. And for SMU, they've put a couple on goal, and of course, the one getting through by Eliana Salama in her 50th career game. As this is a bad giveaway to Jaden Thomas. Thomas up with it, on, waiting, shooting, scoring! Andrea Kitahara, and just like that, Stanford equalizes in Dallas. It is 1-1.
A bad giveaway right there, and they just pounce on it and take advantage of the mistake. Buried in the back of the net. Cut, got twisted, the 2 defenders twisted him up and had basically a free shot on the goal.
Andrea Kitahara, who had a chance just outside the 18 earlier in the match and sailed it high, made sure to take that one extra touch. And the 4th-year left wing out of Hillsborough, California, her 19th career goal to bring Stanford to level. But it really started with the giveaway there, something you can't afford to do against any good team. They're just going to make you pay.
Absolutely. It's got to be quality. You can't, especially in the defensive third, you don't give a ball away in the middle.
So each team, I would say, you know, one play against the keeper, one play against players in the field. It's been a defensive miscue, I think, that has led to both goals.
Yes, sir. It has, but, you know, not necessarily a mistake by the keeper. She had to make a choice.
Sure.
But definitely the SMU goal, a bad giveaway for sure.
SMU also bringing in Truth Byers for Rose. Result makes a touch. Stanford's second unit here has scored the goal to tie up the game at 1. 15 minutes left in the opening half in Dallas. Ungashik's gone the whole way at midfield for SMU. Reverses it out with a nice feed to Hartman. So far, Stanford holding the line. Sophie King plays it in. It just trickles away. And forced out of the attacking area by Mia Butta. Kelly Gordon gets sandwiched. Ends up with the throw-in for the number 9 Cardinal. She knew that Stanford was going to keep coming. Jaden Thomas, by the way, a freshman from Dallas. Not the goal scorer, but was the distributor. It is her first career assist, coming in her 13th career match, and it helped Stanford draw even here in Dallas with SMU. And Ungashik called for the foul here. For the Cardinal coming in, I mean, just a lot to talk about. You talk about their sparkling goals against average, second in the powerful ACC, fourth in the nation, unbeaten in 47 of their last 49 matches. That's miraculous, and a shutout in 8 of their first 12. Not tonight. They're looking to go ahead. However, Hartman punches it out, and Kelly Gordon tries to start something. To Brissot.
You could
jostling for it at midfield.
You could see how they get behind the ball and they press immediately when they lose possession of the ball and get numbers behind. I mean, 2 girls pressured the ball and they won the ball back.
So let's talk about this for both teams right now. For Stanford, you're probably feeling pretty good getting back to level, right? What do you do from here to the half? Are you still trying to play this attacking style?
Maintain the game, try to look for outlets, try to keep, getting in behind, pounce on their mistakes. Try to get in behind in the lines of SMU's back line.
Here's Liz Eddy trying to cross one. Instead, she'll come up with a corner kick on her nice run. And meanwhile, for the SMU Mustangs, you got to be frustrated by giving up that goal, but what do you do from here?
Same as Stanford. Keep plugging, try to get in behind, keep possession, and get numbers up and into the attack. And, again, pounce on their mistakes as well.
SMU does not have a lot of players who have taken corner kicks in the match right now. Lou Brissot would be one. You wonder if they've got something else on here with Sophie King taking this one, or if she's going to go at the goal. No, she goes at Brissot just outside the 18. Brissot chips it in, looking back post, and it had to be saved right there at the top of the crossbar by Haley Craig on a nice ball to challenger by Lou Brissot.
Right off the playground right there. Trick play. Keeper had to come up with a save.
And another corner coming up for SMU. Haley Craig coming into the match with that save percentage of the 2nd in the ACC, 12th nationally. Now Brissot goes out top. It's settled down by SMU, trying to win the 2nd ball and the 3rd ball, but it looked like Nanami Hata got kicked on the play, and Stanford is able to clear it. Trying to get dangerous with it. King trying to pop it away from Lizzie Boima. And instead, a stoppage. And rather than Hata, 13, it's going to be Lydia Ungashik, number 15, who went down, and Ungashik is able to pop back up. That's good news for the outstanding SMU freshman.
Not sure if she got hit in the face from them colliding to each other, but she's okay. Or the ball getting hit into her midsection. But she's good to go.
Ungashik has been outstanding this season, starting every game as a freshman for SMU. Kind of like on the other side, Jasmine Ike is willing to do whatever. Ungashik, when there was an injury to the back line for SMU, moved to center back for a couple matches to see, is that the answer? And she acquitted herself very well in 180 minutes at the center back spot.
Solid. She's a solid player. Kept the back line unified, communicated very well, and held down the ship for Nicole.
Sophie King getting physical. No foul either way, and a corner, or rather a goal kick coming up for SMU, but I think we got to look at the physicality between Logan Smith, who's used to being able to stay on her skis, if you will. She's a 4-time national champion in cross-country skiing, going up against the very powerful for her size, Sophie King. King looking up the field, but it's cut off. And a chance for Stanford to try to do something with it. But being held on the play, Ungashik, a fistful of jersey by Shea Harvey, and Harvey picks up the first booking of the match, a yellow card on the sophomore from Hermosa Beach.
They saw that SMU was about to just start penetrating into their defense, and the girl just held her and just fouled her and earned herself a yellow card.
Harvey, the number 12 player in the Top Drawer Soccer preseason top 100. He's come off the bench in the last 3 matches after starting each of the first 10 matches. See, on this free kick, Sierra Cotillard is going to come out and go over the top on the play. A bouncing ball in the box, but it does get all the way to Haley Craig.
That is an exceptional service that I think SMU could have done better on that to get in behind that ball, because that was beautiful.
Again, almost a windless night here in Dallas. Fairly warm as well. 84 degrees now here in this first ever matchup between Stanford and SMU in Big D. They played out on the West Coast a couple times. They played over at TCU once a few years back. Well, it was more than a few years back. It was back in the 90s. As this one ricochets out near midfield, and then some postseason action as well between the two. Stanford continues to be dangerous in the final third. This one goes out wide to Sammy Smith. Trades with her sister, Logan Smith. But Sophie King takes it away and punishes it up the field in the direction of Truth Byers. And Byers, trying to be a linebacker on the play, goes down as Sophie Murdoch, the freshman defender, is able to hold up.
Truth Byers tried to give lots of pressure right there and almost got to her, but just a tiny bit too slow right there.
8 minutes left in the opening half. SMU got on the board first. It was a 17th minute goal. Seeing eye bouncer from Eliana Salama, followed up. Stanford got a giveaway. Jaden Thomas had one passed to right to her. Set up Andrea Kitahara for her 6th goal of the year to tie things up at 1 apiece. 7.5 minutes left in the opening half here in Dallas. SMU wins the first 2 headers, and then Byers able to play it up the side. Nice ball by Eddie to pass it to herself, and she just tries to get it forward. And a little too much pace in the direction of Kelly Gordon, but a good idea. You kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You get a clearance and maybe a chance if you put the right pace on that ball.
That's called a canoe. You play the ball one way and go around the defender the other way.
Meanwhile, right back the other way, Stanford on the counter. And this one ends up off of SMU's Abby Hampton. A corner kick created by Jaden Thomas. And that gives the Cardinal their first chance at a corner this season. They've scored on 3 previous corner kicks this year.
Let's see if Stanford comes up with a trick play here or just serves it in and try to get in.
It's the sophomore Mia Buddha who's going to take the service. Cardinal not an overly big team. Buddha to the top of the 6, headed by Hartman, but backed up on the play. Thomas puts it on the ground, but SMU is going to have it as Byers sends it up the field in the direction of Liz Eddy. Eddy touches it to herself, has Gordon on her right, but a little bit too much of a touch there by Eddy, and the Cardinal are able to cut it off as Logan Smith got back defensively.
Eddy had Lydia in the middle. If she would have just picked up her head a little bit quicker, she would have put her right in if she would have seen that.
There have been some opportunities for SMU in counter situations in this match. It hasn't been the counter that has hurt Stanford, but certainly it's been possible. Thomas goes inside. Stanford keeps moving it. Cutting in, driving, and knocked away by Hartman down toward the end line. Last touched by Sophie King, and it will be another corner. That was a hard shot by Eleanor Klinger, a freshman out of Cleveland who Stanford really, really likes. 5 minutes left in the first half, and another chance at a corner opportunity for Mia Buddha. First Indian American to represent the USA national team at the World Cup at any level back in 2022. Her drive is a really good ball. It gets sent back out, backed up, and Stanford will keep the pressure on. Here's Grillion. Popped in the air. Cotillard will watch it feather away with 4:40 left in the first half.
Strong defense by SMU there.
SMU goes back into the bench, and an opportunity for Tori Peterson for the first time after some great work by Lydia Ungashik. She has the first point of her SMU career in the first half. She had the assist to set up Salama's goal, and Ungashik will get a little bit of extra rest here as we head toward the half. Tori Peterson is on, the third-year junior out of Las Vegas, playing her 46th career match. Here's Gordon trying to race after it. Good job, though, by Wama to reach it for Stanford. Send it back the other way with under 4 left in the first half.
This game has not disappointed us, has it?
No, not at all. Again, we build it coming in as a Stanford team that's great defensively. SMU, a great offensive team. SMU got on the board first. Stanford was able to equalize. Now we're level at 1 with 3.5 left in the first half. See if one of these teams has a moment toward the end of the half to take a lead into the break. For the SMU ball here. Ball over the top in the direction of Byers.
That was a great service.
Byers, who started 8 games in the absence of Nia Rose while she was with the Canadian national team, playing in Colombia. Byers scored 3 goals and has dished off an assist this year. Part of that big soccer-playing Byers family.
I've coached 3 out of the 6.
What do you notice about a player with the last name Byers when it comes to the pitch? Do they all have a common quality?
Good.
There's a good play by Hartman. He's gotten better and better at the center back spot over the course of the season. And a definite push in the back on Stanford. Sophie Murdoch, the freshman, going through Byers on the play.
Truth will feel that in the morning.
Again, it's not something we've seen a lot from SMU this season, but Sierra Cotillard this time did not get all of it like she did last time. Maybe tried to strike it a little too hard?
I think so. I think she just misstruck it.
SMU able to keep it in possession as Gordon turns, but has it slid away. Brave defensive tackle by Lizzie Blama. 90 seconds left in the first half. Stanford trying to pick up a win in Dallas for the first time ever. Reversing it back right. Here's Logan Smith. Has her sister joining. Slips it to Sammy. Sammy Smith on her left foot. Plays it across. And before Logan Smith could reach it, it is kicked into clearance by Sophie King. Big play.
Good build up by Stanford. SMU just barely got it out of there.
Over the top again for Smith, one-on-one against King. It's been a good matchup so far. It's kept in. The King on her senior day is going to race to it. However, she gives it away to Shea Harvey. And the Cardinal with 45 seconds left in the half. Logan Smith all the way across, headed back toward the goal. Peterson has it for SMU and pops it for a half clearance as calls to get it out come from the SMU bench.
Stanford wants to take one final shot at the goal. It's
going to be Sammy Smith on the entry. Good Job by SMU just to get it out of play with 10 seconds left in the half. And at the break, it is anybody's game here in Dallas. SMU went up on an Eliana Salama goal, and then number 9 Stanford took advantage of a giveaway, beating Sierra Cotillard for the goal by Andrea Kitahara in the call with us, former SMU Mustang, but also back from his trip to Louisville today. We've got Steve Lansdale joining the broadcast as well. And Steve, you're catching all kinds of sports today.
I am. I'm getting SMU football and SMU football on the ACC network tonight. Today, it was a very dramatic SMU win in Louisville for the football team, the American football team. And I didn't think I was going to get back in time to catch part of this game, but I'm thrilled to be joining you all for the second half.
We're glad to have you as well, and it should be a special second half. This number 9 Stanford team with such an incredible pedigree, 22 years under Paul Ratcliffe, the team that has been to the College Cup 10 of the 22 seasons, and that doesn't even include this year that Paul Ratcliffe has been the head coach. You know, you get to the College Cup half the years that you're a head coach, Steve. That is really not only impressive, but so difficult to do.
Yeah, I mean, coaches will tell you how difficult it is to win a single game, and then to get to the NCAA tournament is exceedingly difficult, and then to get to the College Cup is ridiculous. And then to do it every other year that's Anson Doran's territory. No, he was there every year.
Absolutely. SMU and Stanford tied up at 1. Stanford is a team that starts well in halves, and especially in the second half. Look at this. They've scored 5 goals in the first 10 minutes of a half, and then they've added 4 more within the first 10 minutes of the second half kickoff. And Kat, when you consider that this is a team that all season had only scored 18 or 17 coming into the match, it's something for SMU to be aware of, that they pounce on you at the beginning of the half.
I mean, they press so well and they stay compact defensively, and then they open it up and make runs off it.
A giveaway leading to a Stanford shot, and this one is just wide by Ali Montoya. Cotillard never touched it on the play, watched it the whole way, but Montoya had a chance after a giveaway.
SMU needs to alleviate those mistakes, or Stanford is going to leave here with the win tonight.
Kind of seemed like the players were listening to you, Kat, when you were talking about how high Stanford presses. As you were saying that, Stanford presses high, forces the turnover.
It's like I've seen this before.
Exactly.
And Kat, when you've got a very deep roster, how does that help you be able to press high for an entire match?
Because once a couple kids are tired, they just platoon sub them out and then put another group in that just is just as high pressure as the last group.
SMU getting on the board thanks to Eliana Salama. And for the Stanford Cardinal, it was Andrea Kitahara, following up her 9-goal, 9-assist season a year ago with a 6-goal, 4-assist effort so far this year. And I think originally Kayla Polanski had accidentally pointed that the foul was against the SMU player. It turns out it's against the Stanford player. And Sierra Cotillard, who has taken a couple of these free kicks, will get another chance. Goes over the top. Rudden tries to win it in the air. The secondary ball is taken away by Stanford. A scrum for it, and eventually Charlotte Kohler plays it into possession until Salama takes it away. Salama at the top of the 18 trying to drift it off, and there was nobody home. The clearance by Kohler, but a dangerous chance for SMU.
She should not have even looked to pass that ball. She created enough space to strike that ball. She should have just hit it.
But there's an example of how Stanford, even in a bad moment, even in a giveaway moment, they've got numbers behind the ball forcing you to make a decision.
Again, I mean, she had a slight opening. She should have taken it because, like you said, John, there's stealth back there, but she had an opening. She should have just finished it.
Cardinal on the restart. Nia Harrison up that right side, attracted by two, feeds it all the way into the box, still on it. The drive by Jung is blocked by Hampton. However, the Cardinals stay on it. Here's Kitohara dancing in. Kitohara gets onto her right foot, plays it all the way across. Montoya will track it down with her speed, shadowed by Sophie King. Montoya turns to the end line. King cuts her off. Montoya stays on it, though. Headed out by Ungashik. Punted away by King.
Stanford needs to be just as aggressive in the box as well. And you've got to be sort of ball hoggish when you're right there in front of the net. You can't look to pass. You just have to hit it.
Stanford really good at winning 1-0 matches. Obviously, they're not going to do that here. They're great in 1-goal games. Steve, what is it you think about a team that is just, especially in soccer, is there a secret to knowing how to win tight games?
Yeah, there is. I mean, you know, talent carries over everything, but a lot of it is, as you said, confidence. And once you win a few of those close 1-goal games, then you start to believe that it's doable every time out, including when you're even for much of the game, or even when you're trailing by a goal. You're going to have the confidence that you've done this before, you've dug out of these situations before, and there's a calmness and a poise and a confidence that the players have that often gives them opportunities to get equalizers and go-ahead goals.
SMU's going to get a takeaway here. They were offside for a moment. However, back offside again. And this one goes back over to Stanford on a rare offside call on either side in this match. Nia Rose moments ago had a very nice play along the edge and sent a ball into Sammy Nieves with good weight. Nieves just had that heavy first touch, Kat.
Yeah, she should have just let the ball keep going. Nia put her in perfect. She just needs to let the ball go. She didn't even honestly need to take a touch. That first touch, the ball was already in front of her.
Here's Montoya, so dangerous, letting it go through to Ike. Ike trying to feed it back to Montoya. Those two can't connect. Good job by Montoya to reach it, though, force King to play it up the field, and she does so in the direction of Nieves. I think Sophie King, number 25 in blue, she's been really good in this game, Kat.
She has. She's a quality player and has put them in a couple times that they should take advantage of.
And Steve, SMU has talked about how much they want Sophie King to come back for another year, but she says, this is my last year. I want to be a lawyer, and so her third year is her senior year, and so she's being honored on senior day today. How can those pending festivities after the game help a player have a little bit more powerful of a performance?
Well, I mean, senior day is always emotional for both players and coaches alike, and for the teammates who are effectively bidding farewell to their graduating teammates. Obviously, tonight's not the last game of the year, but you want to send those seniors out right.
Here's Salama. She goes after the goal. Didn't have much of a sliver to shoot for, but she tried to go up over the top of Haley Craig after Rose got her the ball.
If she would only put it to the back post, she had a little bit more time than she thought, but she needs to square her hips and follow through towards that back post and get a better quality shot there.
Elise Evans, one of the best center backs in the country, was lurking in the area. Maybe Salama thought she needed to get that quick touch off before Evans became a factor. Kota Yard, about as far off the line as you'll ever see her. And that'll help SMU get to some possession.
She read that super well, came out, knew it was going to be doable with her feet. She's extremely well-rounded soccer player with her feet.
SMU struggled with giveaways against Duke, leading to a couple of the goals in that match, especially those first half tallies, and a giveaway in this match led to a goal. Oh, here's Ike. Ike so dangerous, trying to slot it inside. Montoya was in the area, but it is cleared away, at least a half clearance before Rudden, celebrating her senior day, runs onto it, pops it up the field. Nia Rose looking in Salama's direction, and also has Albert joining. Emma Alvord Not able to reach it before Elise Evans forces a throw in. This dangerous SMU offense doing everything they can to get back on the board. Wonder what kind of, especially as the game is tight, what kind of minutes we'll see from some of those key attackers for SMU in the second half, as this is going to be a goal kick. And maybe that's what Nicole Nelson was trying to do in the first half, limit some of those minutes for players like Nia Rose, Salama, and other attackers to get them more run in the second half.
They're not backing down, that's for sure. They're taking it to them many times they get. They just need to finish in the final third. Final pass or final shot.
Managing minutes is one of those sort of subplots within any game that every coach has to figure out. Obviously, these athletes are all very fit and could run for 90 minutes, but you want them as fresh as possible. You want them to have that extra burst late in games. And so, to your point, John, if the coaches can get a few minutes of rest in the first half for some of their key players.
Drive, it's a goal! Montoya created it. It dribbles out to Charlotte Kohler. She punishes it off the inside of the back post. Kohler's third of the season for the freshman, and Stanford goes in front.
Ball gets popped out, comes right to their player. SMU's not goal side, and the girl just ripped it in.
Much more of a rebound than you want to give up, but as far as the follow-up shot you can't blame on really anybody. That banging it in off the left goal post, there's not a goalie in the country that would have reached out and grabbed that.
Paul Radcliffe excited to see his Cardinal in front after giving up the early goal. Jasmine Ike really starting that off with a pretty good cross all the way to Montoya. Montoya kept it alive, drove it in. Obviously the big rebound off the foot of Cotillard. And Charlotte Kohler was in exactly the right spot. And Radcliffe telling us this week that Kohler's just been outstanding for a freshman this season. Skillful, fast, can create off the dribble, and here she gets the go-ahead goal. It would be her first career game-winning goal if it stands up for the Cardinal. And now Stanford right back on the attack. So again, this subplot continues. Stanford now adding a fifth goal within the first 10 minutes of the second half kickoff. It really seems as if this Stanford team has a winning formula assembled, and they just keep putting it on repeat over and over and over again.
Coach is instructing them, first 10 minutes, let's get all over them and put pressure on them, and it's paid off.
Nervous moments for SMU as Nia Rose pulls up right in front of the SMU bench, and Rose ends up sitting down just off the field. You see Nicole Nelson walking over toward her now, and it looks as though on this warm night it's going to be more of a cramping issue for SMU striker.
Yeah, the way athletic trainer Georgia Tower is working her leg, it looks like maybe it's the calf.
Kind of like me in the middle of the night where I'm like, I know it's coming on. I know it's coming on. I'm like, no, 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 no. And then it just.
Yeah, but you don't have an athletic trainer to stretch it out for you.
I thought you were going to say I don't have an athletic bone in my body, which is
I wasn't going to say that.
Also true. With Steve Lansdale and Kat Webb, I'm John Little. Definitely the least cloud of the three in the booth here tonight in Dallas as the number 9 Stanford Cardinal lead SMU in their first ever matchup actually in Dallas. Stanford has played connected in the second half. It's turned into a goal, and now the Cardinal are looking for more. Look at this run by Montoya. She's been good in this game. Montoya Feeds it out to Harrison. Harrison looking to cross in the air. It bounces once. And then reaching it, Emma Alvord for SMU. She's able to clear it, at least for now. Kitahara. Watched by Alvord. Kitahara. Left-footed cross and a corner upcoming. It's off the body of Humer.
Stanford is definitely using their flank play to get into, to get them into the final third. For sure, overlapping runs. And they're successful. They're getting at least a corner or shot on each attack.
This will be the third corner of the night for Stanford. SMU had the first three, and now Stanford with the next three. One of the best players in the nation, Jasmine Ike, to take it here. The junior from Palo Alto. What a ball. It is headed out. Backed up by Harrison. Harrison sends it in and misangles her shot wide of goal.
She'll want that one back because that was a sitter for her.
Sierra Cote-Yard giving up 2 goals in this match. Facing 11 shots, 5 of them have been on goal. There's an SMU player down, holding her head in the middle of the field for SMU, and that's going to be Sammy Nieves. Not a player that the Mustangs want to lose, as if they want to lose anybody, but Nieves, the redshirt junior leader, holding her head. See those green ribbons worn by the team today? That's in honor of mental health awareness, which is something we're paying very close attention to over the course of late last month and into this month. Green ribbons in the hair, green ribbons on polos and the like. So important. It's something that teams are doing all across the ACC. However, it's always been something that SMU has been on the forefront of as an athletic department, is making sure that the kids in the athletic department have the resources they need, and so many of them wearing ribbons today to mark mental health awareness.
It's such an important issue as well. I mean, when you think about, Kat can speak to this better than I can or than you can, but when you think about not only being a full-time student, but then the fact that being a full-time athlete is basically like a full-time professional job, it puts an enormous strain on student athletes in every sport.
Navas tried to flick the ball on and ended up heading the girl behind her from behind. So headed the Stanford player.
Nieves.
But she's okay.
Yeah, she stands to come back in after the ball comes back into play. Meanwhile, Stanford is ready to bring in the next wave of All-Americans into the match. Just one of those teams, you look up and down their roster, just ECNL All-Americans and players that were Gatorade Players of the Year in, tiny states like California. And just up and down the roster, pretty amazing the talent that Paul Ratcliffe and his squad have assembled over the years. And I'd imagine that that's a big reason, guys, they're able to hold leads, is because they not only have the talent, but they have the depth as well as games go on.
Their bench is an embarrassment of riches. It's like Dan the Man. Let's get some platoon subs going. It's always who's coming in next.
Some people collect comic books or baseball cards. Paul Ratcliffe collects All-American.
Yes, he does. I think so.
It's a great collection to have.
Can never have enough.
Right.
I think that's what he's always saying. As Jaden Thomas tries to run that one down. Thomas, who was the ECNL Texas Conference Player of the Year for FC Dallas last year, and also a U19 national team competitor back in May when the U.S. Under-19 national team went to Spain. Again, growing up you're in the Dallas area and going to school at the Hockaday School, just 5 miles from SMU here, as the Cardinals try to get it restarted in Thomas's direction. Thomas redirects it in Cotillard's area, and Thomas almost wins the race, but Cotillard, ultra aggressive, now sends it with an offensive mind all the way out to midfield.
Great idea. Great idea.
Haley Hartman got away with a little bit of a jersey tug, which is always very, very risky in the box. And she was only able to slow up Thomas for about a half a second, but that was enough to allow Sierra Cotillard time to come out and swallow that ball up. Really dangerous play, but worked out beautifully for Haley Hartman.
Under 30 minutes left to play in Dallas. The go-ahead goal by Stanford. Will it hold up? Can they pick up another one as Montoya gets a great ball here? Montoya with Cotillard out the redirection, cleared off the line by SMU. An excellent chance for the Cardinal to make it a 2-goal lead to the back post. Cotillard is there.
Abby Hampton making the back save off the goal line, and partly because the ball was played toward her, but when it's at close range like that, it's easy to panic and get your feet tied up a little bit, and she played it beautifully.
Now Alvord trying to send one into the box in the direction of Truth Byers. Rudden able to back it up and come away with the steal. Alvord pops it into the air in Byers' direction, redirected, and Salama is there. She's tripped up with no call. It was ball first and a play on as Salama's down, back behind the play. And here comes Ali Montoya again. She has been dangerous. Leaves King behind him. King recovering now. Montoya in, shooting wide. And there's Eliana Salama walking herself back into the play.
Salama took just a second touch to try to get around the defender, and in doing so, I think she took a boot on the top of the foot.
Yep.
Certainly nothing egregious, but
that hurts.
Now Harvey made contact with the ball first and then stepped on the foot of Salama. Salama with a chance. That's the player for SMU probably right now. She or Liz Eddy that you would want with the ball about 20 yards away and a chance to tie the match. And Salama almost had some space with 28 minutes left. Another ball over the top. Nieves racing after it for SMU. Nieves giving pressure in the corner. And finally, Balma just gives it away to Salama, who sends it over the end line. Another one of these freshmen that's so good, Lizzie Guama out of San Diego. Number 34 in the top 100 of the class of 2024. Another great ball for Montoya. She's been running free all second half. Montoya has Thomas out in front of the goal. Looks for other options. Miscommunication. It's overrun, and Ungashik is pulled down. Remember that Shea Harvey is on a yellow. This time, Polanski does not book her.
Montoya is just having her way with SMU on the flank.
Nice ball here. Nieves trying to get it to Salama, but it was offside. Those are the kind of chances SMU has to take the rest of the way down by a goal.
They just have to do a better job of holding the run. Right idea, just went a tiny bit too quick.
Cole Nelson has sent her SMU team through probably their toughest schedule ever, and more to come. You know, they just took on Florida State, tied with the defending national champions. Went to number 3 Duke, a team that doesn't give up goals, lost 3-0. Now they're playing against number 9 Stanford, and we've still got Wake Forest, who just continues to come up with big wins, plus 3 more road matches as well. It's not going to be an easy close to the season for SMU, but they've acquitted themselves well in this league. There's Boama. Boama running all the way in. The touch out front. The redirection by Montoya is wide, but Harvey runs around it. Finds Boama up front. Shot high. Lizzie Boama had a marvelous chance for her third goal of the season.
Watch how the players open up when that girl got the ball. She had 3 different choices to play that ball to.
Montoya would love to have that back on the redirection. I know she had a teammate coming at the far post, but she also had about half of an open goal staring at her and played it wide instead of on the cage.
And every time Stanford's not able to take advantage of some of these excellent chances to double the lead, it leaves SMU that crack to tie up the game with just 1 play.
And Stanford is almost daring SMU to take some of these long vertical balls. Just a second ago, Stanford's entire back line was within a couple yards of the midfield stripe.
They're just moving in unison up, they're like as if they're attacking out of the back, and it's like saying, let's go get another one.
Well, they're just one of the most organized teams in the nation. And that's why Paul Ratcliffe's squad has had so much success year in and year out. The names, the faces change, the success does not. Coming off one of their best years ever, a 21-4 season last year. Their only loss was in the College Cup final at the hands of Florida State. SMU starting to play just a tick more physically. Cardinal trying to tie their season high for goals in a match with 3. Hartman heads it out. Nieves can't get control of it. Stanford does. Lots of space for Buta to organize. Klinger down low for Harvey. And a quick touch. Kitty Hata all the way across. Hartman heads it out once more. Cardinal will play into possession.
You talked a moment ago, John, about how Eliana Salama and Liz Eddy may be the 2 that the Mustangs will look to for shots. It does look like Nia Rose may be getting ready to come back. She's on her feet. She's standing by the coaches in one of those sort of stances where it looks like she's trying to get some coaches' attention.
And Liz Eddy will come on for SMU. Eddy replacing Salama. You could see Salama again in this match. I would guess you will, as long as the score doesn't start running away in the Stanford direction. And as you mentioned, Nia Rose, not back in the match yet, but after that apparent calf cramp, she's trying to get ready to come back into the match, make some magic on a senior night for the SMU Mustangs. It's got to be tough to know when to do your senior night when you're in the ACC. You know, Steve, it's like, let's look for the easy matchup. There just aren't any. Here comes another run by Kitty Hata, quickly across, and it's just overrun by Ali Montoya. Kitty Hata just does a great job of reversing the field.
Traditionally, senior night in any sport, you schedule it when you're playing a team that you know you can run them off the field, and hopefully you get all your seniors into the game, maybe start them all if the numbers work out correctly, and with any luck, half of them will get a chance to score and that kind of thing, and everyone has a great day, and you get to hug mom and dad afterward. You do that in the ACC, good luck finding a nice soft opponent. They don't exist. That might be why you may consider doing it in September against a non-conference team.
I think that's what you've seen a lot of teams go to. Of course, the other thing you could do is, just the last regular season home game. That's another thing we've seen, of course. Here's Emma Alvord. A little bit of speed moving forward. She's hasn't turned on the Jets now. Now she will. Alvord steps on it. with the left foot, sends it across. Byers can't settle it down. Eddy is there, though. Eddy right back to Byers. And Stanford is able to fend away at least the first advance. Eddy turning, attracting a couple. Ungashik trying for the 1-2 right back to Eddy, but is sent back out to midfield. Rudden distributing, and not sure if she was looking for Hummel or Alvord, but either way, misstruck by the senior. Stanford. Cavalry just continues to come as Erica Grillion is on, and Ali Montoya, after just some excellent work in this match, she hasn't scored, but she's been so dangerous, comes off the field, I should say. Hampton called for being the aggressor against Thomas. Under 20 minutes left. Stanford scored the goal-ahead goal in the second half, and Kiti Hata has it now. Kiti Hata. Hummel, though, cuts her off. It's a good play by Maura Hummel. Nieves able to circle on it, but doesn't get enough on it. Guama overtakes it. Guama knocked down, and a key set-piece opportunity on the way for Stanford thanks to Rudden's foul.
Emma's got to come back for that ball and actually collect it. She let that girl step in front of her and it caused SMU to make a foul.
And set up Stanford in a very, very dangerous spot, about 8 or 10 yards outside the box.
Stanford has not scored off a free kick this season. They do have 3 corner kick goals. We have Buda. Too strong.
Oh,
and here comes the SMU Cavalry.
Platoons up for SMU.
Yeah, 9 in, make it, I think it's, 6 in, 6 out here for SMU as Nicole Nelson tries to put an 11 on the field that can come up with the tying goal in Dallas.
Looked like a complete hockey change. So, Kat, when you played, if you're on the short end of a 1-goal deficit with, what do we have, 18 minutes left, how do you balance trying to feed the ball to your best scorers versus everyone just pulling the trigger when they get close?
You have to be patient, but first you've got to get the ball in their half of the field. And to do so, they got to have some organization. Stanford is so savvy with the ball, and watch how they move off each other to support. SMU's got to start doing the same thing. There we go.
Gordon nearly came up with it, but Guama is able to cut to the middle, and Guama advancing. Guama driving it, and Cotillard keeps it a 1-goal game with a lunging save to the back post.
What a penetrating run.
Guama is an unbelievable athlete, the 5'9" freshman playing that outside back position. Man, moving like a forward.
And that was a great angle by the ACC network cameras as we saw the ball sort of fade to the right off the outside of her foot. And we've talked this year about how Sierra Cotillard is one of 3 5'11" goalkeepers on this roster. She needed every inch of that height to lay out and turn that aside.
On the corner, it's loose.
That was a quality strike. Quality strike.
Just a little wide. Oh, for sure from Guama. Cotillard organizing her defense for another corner. It's Mia Buda. Strikes it to the top of the 6. Here's a great chance, but it is mishit on the bouncer by Eleanor Klinger.
Great service.
Over the top, here's Liz Eddy. Eddy going after it, a little push. Eddy, as the numbers get back, not able to send it toward the goal. It just goes to show you SMU is a breath away from getting a chance to tie this match with under 16 minutes left to go, and that was a opportunity there.
Coach Yard's feet are just beautiful. Like that is just such a quality service, right in stride.
You always hear coaches talk about how defending is not left up to just the back line. Everybody needs to help defend. And what was most impressive to me there was how many Stanford Cardinal players retreated at 100 miles an hour so that Liz Eddy had a one-on-one, and then all of a sudden she was 1-on-4. Terrific backtrack by the Stanford defense.
It's pretty stark. Another corner coming up for Stanford. They've had 6 corners now since the last SMU corner. Eleanor Klinger, the freshman, the early enrollee who reclassified from the 25 class to the 24 class to get with Stanford, taking the corner, driven on the ground. Buta reached it, but she spins around Salama on a do-si-do and gives it back to SMU.
Spin your partner around and round.
That's exactly what it looked like. So Kota Yard has done more free kicking in this match than maybe she has all year, sends it forward.
Some of the Stanford players on the bench were objecting to the fact as she set up that free kick. She did scoot it up 6 or 8 yards, but you know, that only means she was what, 90 yards away from the goal? I don't think that's the most egregious crime in the world.
She's been watching Messi.
Gotta learn from the best. Here's Gordon trying to hold it up. It's driven out of trouble. Hata, Peterson. Cardinal able to take it away. Nia Harrison, who is another edge player that has been good for the Cardinal, brings it up. You know, in this match, so far, Kat, it really seems like on the right side of the field, whether it be Harrison or Montoya, Cardinal have just been outstanding. And now here's a drive into the box. Rudden able to clear it away. But it's been all night, one time after another, that the Cardinal have had 3 runners with space down the right flank.
Both sides of the flanks, actually. They're just destroying them in the outside edges.
Stanford, that and more, has given them a 2-1 lead with 13 minutes left here in Dallas. Just a great crowd on a gorgeous night. Now SMU on their senior night trying to figure out a way to tie this game. Gordon really hustling after it. A little too much on that ball from Rudden.
She's just got to pick her head up and just find her feet.
After a little bit of rest, Jasmine Ike, who was key in the go-ahead goal in the second half for Stanford, is back in. Again, if you're just joining us, a Cardinal fan and have seen her play center back all season, she's been moved back to striker in this match. In fact, she scored her first goal of the season against NC State when she started at striker. And maybe looking for the goal to put it away here in the last 12 minutes in Dallas. Ike back in the match. One thing I've noticed for the Cardinal is they've been playing Eleanor Klinger some at center back as well. Is Gordon onside? She is not.
Right idea.
SMU trying to be aggressive with the chances they have remaining with under 12 minutes left to go. And Elise Evans for the Cardinal just fine with taking her time as Nicole Nelson's looking for her team to have that magic moment to equalize the game here in Dallas. But you have to watch out for Stanford's ability to go forward. They have taken advantage of SMU a couple times. Grillione knocked right back at her. She has it again. Minami Hata, really good play. Throw in for Stanford.
That was great skill out of Kohler. Off balance, the Mustang defender there.
SMU brings Sophie King in here, and Eddie is out. Steve, this is an interesting combination of players for SMU. Certainly uncharacteristic, where I think when you're down a goal, you've got to get more offensive. They have probably for the last 5 to 7 minutes.
Sure. I mean, we're just under 11 minutes remaining. SMU looking up at a 1-goal deficit. It's time to start taking more chances. It's time to start playing vertically and basically get everyone who can shoot on the field. If you give up one going the other way, well, that's the risk you play. That's the risk you take of trying to play catch up. But you've got to give your team a chance.
Steve, you got to get the numbers forward, right?
Right.
You got to get the numbers.
Exactly.
Stanford leads the all-time matchup against SMU. 3 wins and 2 losses. Wama drives it deep. Atta scrambles after it. She'll throw it in. Nice job by Gordon to keep it in. Thought she did. Yes, and she was able to, but instead it's going to be a throw-in instead of being able to keep playing it.
Boy, from our angle, looking down from above, and it was right in front of us. It sure didn't look like it crossed the touchline.
Here's a takeaway by the star of the night, Montoya. Montoya driving in, and it's blocked away. Haley Hartman staying with her stride for stride.
Montoya is definitely the player of the match for Stanford.
You know, we sometimes talk about how fast certain players are and whether one player can run step for step with another. But Hartman's play there, not only was she running step for step with Montoya, but she avoided getting corkscrewed into the ground, and she was able to spin around and still get a foot in front of that to turn that ball away. Beautiful play by Hartman.
A few final subs for SMU. 9.5 to play in Dallas, and another corner kick coming. Struck well, near post, on the ground. Liz Eddy is there for SMU, trying to spring Nia Rose. Doesn't quite have the wheels, and Harrison lives to fight another day by sending it over the touchline.
She could have just gotten a tiny little toe poke on that. Possibly could have gotten around her.
Stanford 6-1 in 1-goal decisions this season. As this one's played again, out to Montoya. Ali Montoya against Hartman. There's that matchup again. Montoya fakes, delivers it, and comes up just wide, this time with the left foot. Not again.
She just turns her inside out and gets a crack. She just doesn't hit it to the proper part of the cage.
Charlotte Kohler right now has the go-ahead goal for Stanford. It would be her first career game-winning goal. She also scored against San Francisco and at San Diego State. So it's her first goal outside of California in her college career. Kohler, the 2-time California Gatorade Player of the Year. But Liz Eddy has some space on the right side and cuts in. Eddy toward the end line. Eddy crossing it, and right at the keeper, Haley Craig. Make sure it does not cross her face.
On the one hand, it was a great grab by Craig climbing the ladder to go get it, because Sophie King was coming in behind her at the left post, but as hard as that ball was hit, I think it would have sailed over Sophie King as well.
She had an opportunity to get the ball in the box and just has to give a better service than that to give us a chance.
Seven and a half left. Stanford trying to put it away, already up by a goal. Another nice turn. Grillion into the 18. Grillion punched away and just past Montoya, who is rushing on.
That ball was earmarked for the upper right corner. Nice deflection by Sierra Cotillard.
High key to the back post. Header is wide. Another opportunity by Grillione on shot number 21 of the evening by the Cardinal.
Great strike and great save. This game could be out of control if Cotillard is not having a game of her life today.
The shot count at halftime was 7-4. Now it's sitting at 20-6, which it's been a few years since I took a math class, but that sounds like 13-2 in the second half. Cardinal has done a really nice job elevating its pressure in the offensive end. But to your point, Kat, Sierra Cotillard has been absolutely fantastic.
So this is a foul on Stanford. See where this is on the field. I thought Cotillard might come up even across midfield to take this, but evidently she's not. And Hartman gets it restarted. Out to Ungashik. Here comes Ungashik's service. Short. Hatta backs it up. And it's kicked into space by the Cardinal as Buddha gets rid of it. Ungashik, the quick throw back in. You heard the Cardinal bench wanting a foul on Ungashik for the body up. Hartman will race after this one, try to keep it away from Montoya. Now here's King. Up the wing. Salama trying to race to it. And a smart decision to kick it into space with 5:10 left. But Salama wants it right back. Salama looking to do her dance. Salama has him in a pickle. Salama left the ball behind her. And again, a throw in.
Salama is so creative, and Nicole Nelson said earlier this season she has never had a player who can dribble like Salama. But at some point, the numbers match up, and she had 3 defenders around her and eventually ran out of options.
Here's Mackenzie Rudden. It's senior night for her. Does she have the magic? A heavy touch, but it's backed up by Ungashik. Eddie. She's stymied, but Ungashik races to it. It goes off of Rudden, stays with SMU. Rudden's service, Rudden's shot, right in on Craig.
Good attempt by Rudden.
Kat, do you think that was a shot or was that a cross? Was she looking for a teammate coming in by the back post?
Honestly, I believe that was a shot. She just didn't drive it. But I think at this point they're trying to put anything. They're going to throw the whole arsenal at them.
Stanford bringing their closers on with 4 minutes left and that 1-goal lead. The Cardinal, number 11 in the RPI, number 9 in the coaches' poll coming into the night. SMU unranked, but a respectable number 45 in the RPI coming into the evening. Now the Cardinal trying to put it away. Advancing forward, it's out wide. Kini Hatta, she got it started with the first goal of the night, but Hartman is able to send it away with a beautiful defensive play.
Great defending.
Not only sent the ball away, but then got just enough of a shoulder bump to drive Kini Hatta off the ball and allow the Mustangs to take possession away.
3.5 to play in Dallas. The Stanford team is so strong with the ball, trying to avoid giving SMU a chance. Any opportunities SMU has had in this match, they seem like they've been in the counterattack, and Cardinal trying to avoid giving up that last gasp goal and pick up 3 points on the road. And how big would those 3 points be? Quick shot toward the goal. It just rolls in. Kind of an in-betweener is Lumi Kostmeyer, who was a great scorer in her freshman season 2 years ago. Comes up just short. A takeaway by Kohler. Kohler back inside. Kostmeyer facing up. It's steered away again by Cotillard.
Another brilliant save.
Coaches talk all the time about with big goalies, it's easier to shoot low because it takes them longer to get to the ground. But Cotillard, for a taller goalkeeper, she gets to the ground and gets stretched out very, very quickly.
She sure does.
For Cotillard, at least 7 saves in her last 4 matches. Her shot stopping has helped SMU stay in some games and win others. Another strike.
Ball's out.
Back post, and it was out. So not exactly the ball that Ike wanted, and the restart's too quick here.
Ball went over the line.
And I think it was still rolling just a tiny little bit. Seems like with 2 minutes left in a 1-goal game is an odd time to call that when Sierra Cotillard is about 100 yards away from where her teammates can do any damage with it, but
in the interest of fairness, Kayla Polanski pulls it back, and in the interest of fairness, she calls a foul on SMU with 1:44 to go.
She's all about fairness.
All refs are.
You know, shots 21-6 in favor of Stanford. Shots on goal 10-4 in favor of Stanford. Corners 8-3 in favor of Stanford. This game, Stanford deserves a win on the road at SMU today. However, you know, Kat, where do you think that SMU played well and stood up tall in this match if they're not able to equalize?
They definitely had some signs of brilliance tonight, for sure. Just unfortunate that they had a few miscues that led to goals for them. So I would say that Nicole Woods should be, okay, you know, proud of her team, of the effort that they gave, and that let's clean up those mistakes, and you have something to look forward to, because this was not a total massacre here. It was a close game.
No, yeah, absolutely. And John, you made the comment a moment ago about how Stanford was bringing in its closers, but it's a little bit of an unusual closing situation, because with the scoreboard not working, the players can't look up and see how much time they still need to run off. So they're sort of playing with an unending clock in their minds.
Got to play it out to the final whistle, which is going to be in about 12 seconds.
They do get the 1-minute warning, and then you hear the 10 seconds being counted down now.
So SMU picks up the opener tonight, but then the number 9 Cardinal come from behind, getting the tying goal in the first half, and then the game-winning goal from Charlotte Kohler off a big rebound, and the number 9 Cardinal